Hello, beautiful ladies. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Alana Palm, Christian trauma release and mind renewal specialist, and I help Christian women overcome overwhelm, fear, frustration, and trauma from a Christ-centered perspective. If this interests you, please continue watching. Today is Ask Me Anything. And so I do these once a month usually just to give you an opportunity to ask me some questions that have been on your heart. And I've got some questions to answer today, which is fun. And if you didn't get a chance to submit your question and you want to put it in the comments, then please do that. And then I will be able to answer it on here. So, what are some ways to make it special for someone in their heart who struggled with accepting and loving themselves? And the truth is, this weekend, as much as, we don't need to make it special for us, right? If we've struggled with accepting love and loving ourselves, the truth is it doesn't have a whole lot to do with that. It has to do with His love for us. And a lot of times we can get caught up in our own head about things, just like I can on Good Friday. I can get caught up thinking about all the sadness of the day. But the truth is, He made that choice for us because He loves us that much. There were no questions in His mind about what the Father was asking Him to do. There was a moment where He asked the Father to take this cup from Him, but He knew He was doing it for a really great reason, for us, to save us, so His Holy Spirit could live in us. So if we're not really understanding Easter as what He did for us, then we probably have it a little bit backwards, because it's not so much about, do we love ourselves? What do we think of ourselves? It's He thinks this of us. And I think that's a really good theme for life, because if you're anything like me, you can get caught up in your head sometimes of all the thoughts about yourself that you're not enough, and, all your insecurities, all your downfalls, all your losses, right? When we don't feel successful at life and we start to beat ourselves up about it, all of that can lead to us just getting caught up in our own opinion instead of coming into agreement with God's opinion. And Jesus's opinion is that even if you were the last person on earth, He would have died for you. Excuse me, do you believe that? Do you believe that He would have died for you if you were the only person here? So if you are one of these women, like I was in the past, where I struggled to love myself, I struggled to see myself through God's eyes, then first of all, know that you're not alone. And second, remember, through life, the more we can come into agreement with His opinion of us and not our own, the better our life's going to be. Because it is so easy to get wrapped up in our opinion of ourselves. But are we right? Are we actually right the way we think about ourselves? Is that true? Well, if it doesn't come into agreement with God and His truth, then no, right? Because if we believe that His truth is the truth, then we can't just pick and choose, or we can't say, oh, it's true for this person, but not for me. It's true for my friend who I think is really awesome, but it's not true for me. Well, He died for you. So to go back to the question, if you want to make Easter special, then think about what He did for you, not how you feel about yourself. It's like He gave us that gift. He gave you that gift. So are you accepting the gift, receiving it, and going, oh my gosh, like, thank you, God? Or are you resisting the gift? Are you saying, I don't really like this gift, or I don't think this gift is for me, even though it has my name on it. It must be for someone else because I'm not that special that I would get that gift, right? So think about how the giver would feel. Think about if you gave a gift to somebody and that person said, oh, no, 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 this is not for me. And you're like, no, it is, like, your name's on it. I bought it specifically for you, and they're going, nope, nope, this is too nice. It's not for me. I'm not accepting it. How would you feel as the giver, somebody who spent time, loving this person, picking out the perfect gift for this person, doing something so wonderful for this person. And if you're anything like me, you almost get more excited when you're going to give a gift to somebody that you know they're going to love. Imagine if they just turned it away and went, no. That's, I'm sure, how God might feel. Now, obviously, he loves us, so he doesn't judge us for that, but I'm sure it hurts him. I'm sure it makes him sad when, in his way, when he sees us not accepting him, accepting his gift, because he knows the fullness and the freedom that he died for us to have. He wants us to have the abundant life. He knows the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but he died so we could have life and have it abundantly, have it to the full. And if we're always looking at ourselves and thinking about all the things that are wrong with us, we're not living the full life. We're not living in freedom. And actually, if you have not signed up for the Experiencing God's Love Intensive, then definitely sign up for that, because that is going to be such a great opportunity to dive into how God feels about us, how to receive his love, how to stop resisting it, and how to overcome roadblocks that are in your way, from your past that have prevented you from really living that full life that he died for you to have. So the other thing that came up this week, and actually I got a question about it as well, which was so perfect, is self-sabotage. So we had talked about self-sabotage on our group call this week, and then I got another question about it. So I'm like, okay, that's perfect. So the question is, why do we self-sabotage? And, we actually had such a great call because we went through the definition of self-sabotage. Everybody shared their definition. And it was so great to see, how spot on we all are with, knowing what self-sabotage actually is. So I'm curious for you, because I see you commenting, what do you do to self-sabotage? Where does that show up in your life? And self-sabotage is you want to do something, but you sabotage yourself because there's something going on deep inside where you say, I'm not worth it. I can't do this. I'm afraid, something. I need to have control, so I can't let go. Like there's something going on inside you. So where does that show up in your life? How does self-sabotage look for you? Unless I am agreeing with him, then I am wrong. Because I want you to own that, because that's really powerful. Like, we as humans are committed to being right. Not consciously, subconsciously. We will die on a hill just to be right. We will not allow, like, we're right about the way that we feel about ourselves, right? So if we say we're not enough, we're going to find all sorts of evidence that we're not enough. If we don't think we're beautiful, we're going to find lots of evidence that we're not beautiful. And that is or nobody's going to love us. We're going to find lots of evidence in repeated relationships that, oh, this person doesn't love me again, right? And we just do that. We're so committed to being right. And that's where self-sabotage comes in. So self-sabotage is basically, it comes from a place of, and let me see if I can explain this in a way that is helpful. When we're young, up until about age 6 or 7, we only have our subconscious mind. So everything that comes in, it just goes into the subconscious automatically. We don't have the ability consciously to start sifting through things and going, okay, yeah, like my mom's mad at me right now, but it's because of her. Like something's going on in her life and she's struggling. And so, I understand. I should just be more compassionate with her. Like we don't think like that as children. Right? Or I'm being abused and it's really about the other person. It's not about me at all. It's definitely all about them and I could stop this anytime. We do not think like that. Everything just becomes truth. We accept it in and it's truth. And so when I was growing up, that's why I didn't know why I hated myself so much. All I knew was I was this awful human being that should never have been born, that shouldn't live. And I wanted to die, so at age 12, I finally realized that you could commit suicide. And that was when that idea came into my mind. I don't remember how, but I knew that I could actually have control over my life that way. But everything I'd been fed my whole life was, be afraid, you're in danger, you're not safe, you're bad, you should never have been born, all these things are wrong with you constantly. So I just believed that. I just believed that I was brainwashed. We're literally brainwashed when we're young, and sometimes we're brainwashed in a really great way. Like we learn these things about ourselves and we can stand on them for the rest of their life. I think about that verse about raise a child in the way they should go and they will not depart from it. Well, it's the subconscious, right? If you raise them up when they're young with these really strong subconscious beliefs about who they are, like grounded in the truth of who they are, it's amazing what life can be like for them. But if we don't, it can cause damage inside. It causes a feeling of not being safe. And we think we need to self-protect. Our ego gets developed. So we, at some point in our childhood, we go through an experience where the world changes, the world looks different. And we go, wow, like I just went through this. I'm scared. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. I'm confused. And then we basically internalize that belief and we make up a story about ourselves and about other people in the world. So if let's say all of a sudden at age like 4, you get spanked really hard for something that you don't even really understand. You know you did something wrong, but it doesn't completely make sense. And you literally get like the worst spanking. And you're so shocked by it because it doesn't make sense. And all of a sudden you make a meaning about it, about you. So I'm bad. I'm really bad because I got this spanking. You make up a meaning about your parents, like other people. I'm not safe with my parents. They'll hurt me if I don't do the right thing. And then we make up a story about the world, right? The world is a scary place. And so when we do that, we believe these things in our subconscious, and we don't actually know how to challenge them until we're much older because we just are accepting it as truth. We don't see it any other way. And when we're young, everything's about us. Like they've got that strong ego where everything's about them. So they're not going to make it somebody else's fault. They're going to make it their own fault. And as you grow up, you will always find evidence to confirm whatever you believe in your subconscious. So if you think you're bad, or you're not safe, or you need to protect yourself, you will live your life that way. And it can be a good thing. We all need to protect ourselves to a certain degree. We don't want to end up in trouble. We don't want to end up being really bad and committing crimes or anything like that, but we end up doing it in a very insecure way. We either get our inferiority ego comes in where it says, I'm not enough, I'm bad, something's wrong with me, or we get a superiority ego where we go, well, I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do. I'm right all the time. I need to protect myself and fend for myself. And we go that route. So one or the other usually. And so, we might become codependent. We might become narcissistic. We might become really needy. We might self-sabotage by getting into relationships with people and keeping them at an arm's length and not really letting them in. And all these things confirm our subconscious belief. And so, how to stop the self-sabotage patterns. So if you know you self-sabotage, it's really about going and discovering what's going on in your subconscious. What beliefs have been in there for so long that are lies from the enemy that were planted there a long time ago. And they end up just becoming those big weeds. Like if you think about being planted in a garden, those weeds that grow so high and so fast that they're prickly and they're like 4 feet high, and you're going to have to, like the stems are this thick, right? And that you're going to have to get some pretty awesome tools to get those weeds out. And that's sort of what we do in the Set Free Academy. The weeds are the subconscious beliefs that are wrong, that are lies, right? And as a joke, belief systems, I call them BS, right? Because it's an acronym, but it also really applies because a lot of our belief systems are BS, right? They're not actually true. So we need to go and challenge them. Otherwise, we will not live in the fullness and the freedom that God has for us because we just won't be able to fully see and experience that. because all we can see is what's coming in through our filter, and our filter is called our reticular activating system, and it filters through everything that you've been programmed to believe. So your environmental programming, parental programming, programming in school, programming from teachers, programming from the world and media. Everything comes in, filters through, and comes into agreement with what you believe in your subconscious. So we all have these dirty filters that we really need to clean out. And until we clean them out, until we get those weeds out and replant God's truth in the garden, we're going to keep self-sabotaging. So it's really about doing that deep inner healing work to get to the root of the issue and pull it out. And it does require, when they get that big and they're there for that long, there are some pretty specialized tools that get to come in and help you. So we teach that in the Set Free Academy, obviously, and do the deep inner healing. And then we also deal with the, what's happening in the immediate conscious part of your life now, because patterns are showing up now, and it's like this mix of, how do I deal with this immediate situation and work through it, but also how do I heal the core belief that is keeping me continuing this pattern in my life? So hopefully that makes sense. Can you have both those egos because of trauma? Yeah, absolutely. So like you'll notice you can vacillate between the two. So I have, for sure. So sometimes I was like all superior and then I would go inferior, right? And I could do that in the same minute. And it's all ego based, right? So when we talk about ego in the Set Free Academy, it's really, all the ways our ego shows up, and it's all to keep us safe. And it's like our subconscious is designed to keep us safe. Our ego is, I'm not going to be hurt that way again. I don't want to be in pain. I want to be safe. So yes, absolutely. Yes, Jesus pulled the roots out. We have to start believing him and let him heal us. The evil one lies and God loves. Absolutely. And that's really the only way we pull the roots out, right? Is with him, right? I don't want to say anything negative about anybody else who's out there doing, different types of work, because I think every work has its place. But my belief is that if Christ isn't at the center, then it's not going to work the same way. He is truth. He is life. So if we want that amazing, powerful healing that lasts, the transformation that lasts, not just a change, but a transformation, like a caterpillar to a butterfly, then you get to do the deeper work, right? And so, like I said at the beginning, I just encourage you to really tap into what he did, not even how we feel, but just focusing and meditating on what God did for us. Because that is, just phenomenal. He went through so much pain because of us. So when we go through pain, he understands. We're never alone. So just remember, if you're having a weekend where you are feeling a little bit alone and it's not so great, you're never alone. He's always with you. So I just want to wish you a beautiful weekend. And if you have any additional questions as you're watching that come in, feel free to put them in the comments and just tag me in it if it's a question for me so I can answer it for you. So thank you, ladies. I'm sending you so much love, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye. Thank you for watching. If you felt connected to this content and it helped you in some way, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Also, check the description below for some special gifts just for you. See you in the next video.